Welcome back to The Jumping Mystic. This is a special episode arriving right in the middle of our ongoing Discover Your Genius series. Today, we are walking through the full Beyond What You Can Imagine release cycle, how to use each part, and how the 4-jump experiences fit together.
It is quite a lot to cover, but it's so important right now.
It really is. But before we get to the logistics, I want you to ask yourself this. What if the edge of your imagination isn't a brick wall, but, just a starting line?
Oh, I love that framing.
Right. Today, we are exploring exactly what happens when you step past the limits of what you thought was possible. And I have to point out, the arrival of this specific material just feels completely different from our usual deep dives.
It really does. It has a completely different energy to it.
Yeah, exactly. There was no long, drawn-out runway here. The material came in quickly, effectively demanding to be released right now because the moment itself feels so remarkably charged.
It is a profoundly specific moment, and the central invitation of this whole arc challenges a really core human assumption.
Mm-hmm. Which is what, exactly?
Well, typically, when we hit the edge of our imagination, when we stare into the future, and we simply cannot picture what comes next, our nervous system interprets that as a hard limit.
Like an alarm going off.
Exactly. We think, I've reached the end of the road. But if we synthesize the core teachings of this material, it suggests a massive paradigm shift.
Okay, I'm listening.
What feels like the edge of your imagination is actually only the nearest visible threshold. Most of your limitations aren't endings at all.
They're just doorways.
Yes, they're merely doorways where entirely new, formless landscapes are waiting for you to just, walk into them.
Listening to you describe this environment, the image that immediately pops into my head is walking into a massive commercial kitchen.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
And I'll say this right now, this is the only time we're going to use this kitchen metaphor today, but it's just so perfect.
Please, lay it out.
Okay, so think of it as arriving in a kitchen where every single burner is already lit. The oven is preheated, the professional tools are laid out perfectly, and all the cosmic work is entirely done.
It's all just waiting for you.
Right. All that's required is that you bring your ingredients, your desires, and your boldest vision. You just have to walk in.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it changes how you operate entirely.
How so?
Because that kitchen is already running so hot. This is absolutely not a moment to start small.
So no testing the waters.
No cautious building. It's a moment to take your absolute biggest intentions and place them directly onto the fire, trusting what is already primed and waiting.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if the oven is running that hot right now, we have to look at the fuel source.
Right. What's powering it?
Exactly. Yeah. What is actually creating this highly specific, charged, atmospheric environment for us to step into?
Well, what's fascinating here is how this connects to a very rare astrological convergence happening right now in mid-April.
Ah, the astrology piece.
Yes, but we need to define how that actually works without getting tangled in complicated, archaic cosmic mechanics. Think of astrology in this context strictly as a timely amplified window.
A timely amplified window.
Exactly. It is a massive concentration of surrounding forces. This convergence doesn't magically create conditions out of an empty vacuum. Rather, it serves as a massive amplifier for whatever energy and intention is already moving within you.
Wait, I need to stop you there. Because I hear rare astrological convergence, and I automatically picture these giant, distant rocks in space shooting distinct linear forces at us.
Like tractor beams.
Right, dictating what happens to you and me on a Tuesday. Does this mean these distant planets are shooting distinct linear forces at us, dictating what happens?
That is a crucial distinction, and the answer is absolutely no. The outer atmosphere only intensifies existing energy.
So it doesn't force anything.
Right, it never dictates your fate. Think of it like working into a massive outdoor music festival.
Okay, I like this.
The planets are like the different stages scattered across the grounds. If you walk up to the heavy metal stage, the atmospheric pressure changes. You feel an aggressive charging bass in your chest.
Oh, yeah, you can physically feel that.
Exactly. But if you drift over to the acoustic stage, the atmospheric frequency slows down.
Yeah.
It feels much warmer. The stages, the planets just set the atmospheric conditions because our lived experience is dictated entirely by resonance.
So the music is playing loudly, but they don't force you to dance.
Precisely. We have total control over the internal state we bring into it. You have a choice. You can brace yourself against the immense pressure, Or you can walk in with open hands and dissolved resistance.
Knowing that this high volume window is happening right now, I can easily see how a listener might suddenly feel a sense of panic.
Oh, for sure. The urge to rush.
Yeah, exactly. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to navigate this fast arriving material? Because we have a lot of pieces dropping this week.
We really do.
Let's walk through the intentional, simple order of the releases. First, we have the introduction video.
Right.
Then the astrology explanation video.
Yep.
Then this deep dive we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Fourth is the song Beyond the Fade. And finally, the 4 quantum jump experiences, which are released chapter by chapter.
It sounds like a lot when you list it all out.
It does. Honestly, how do we prevent this from becoming just another exhausting daily homework assignment? How do listeners avoid feeling overwhelmed by all this?
By understanding what we call the one-time rule. I want to reassure everyone listening, the informational pieces, which are the intro video, the astrology video, and this very podcast deep dive, they are only meant to be experienced one time.
Just once.
Just once. They are here to provide orientation and context, not to become a chore. They are the map, not the journey itself.
That distinction is so helpful. Read the map once, then put it away so you don't trip while you're hiking.
Exactly.
So moving from those one-time context pieces to the actual daily tools, let's introduce the companion piece of this arc, the song Beyond the Fade.
The foundational tool.
Yeah. And this song can be used daily for just a few minutes of focused listening, or you can leave it on a 60-minute loop in the background.
Highly recommend the loop, by the way.
Absolutely. And I need to explicitly mention that the 60-minute loop can be downloaded for free from the Internet Archive and that the link is right in the description.
It's incredibly accessible.
It is. And beyond just the music, the lyrics themselves show the exact intention of moving beyond our current boundaries. Let me quote them exactly for you.
Please do.
Expand beyond perception, expand beyond the sight. I reach beyond the thinnest thin and bring it into light. Beyond the edge, perception. Beyond the edge of sight, I moved beyond the thinnest thin and brought it back to light.
Those lyrics are, honestly, a literal set of instructions.
They really are.
They describe crossing that exact psychological threshold we talked about earlier. And to help your body actually tolerate that crossing, there's a companion piece called the breathing series.
Okay, so talk to me about the breathing series. What does it actually do?
It takes that exact same song and layers very gentle audio cues over it. You'll hear a soft bell, which is your cue to breathe in, and then a cymbal, which is your cue to breathe out.
Which completely removes the mental math from breath work. I mean, usually I'm thinking, wait, was that 4 seconds or 6?
Exactly. It removes the mental load of counting. It uses the nervous system's built-in reflex to settle your attention and create deeper focus.
But I have to ask, there are 15 different tempo versions of this breathing series available. Why so many options? Is slower always better?
No, definitely not. That's a huge misconception. Comfort matters entirely here.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's about finding a rhythm that lowers your effort. If you force a slow breath and your body isn't ready, your brain panics thinking it's not getting enough oxygen.
Which defeats the whole purpose.
Exactly. Slower isn't better. It's about what prevents you from feeling strained. This is something you can use while sitting quietly, doing things around the house, or taking a short reset during the day.
That makes total sense. Okay, so with the daily tools established to settle the mind, we transition to the core work, the actual jumps.
The main event.
Right. We have 4 chapter-sized experiences covering 10 jumps total. Let's break this down strictly at the section level. What is experience 1?
So experience 1 is section 1, which is grounding at the edge.
Grounding at the edge, okay.
Yeah, this is about orienting your attention and stabilizing the nervous system. It teaches you to stand calmly at the threshold where your familiar form begins to thin out.
Because usually we just want to run away from that edge.
Exactly. Our instinct is to flee. But once you can stand there, you move to experience 2, which is section 2, trusting the unknown.
Trusting what you can't see yet.
Right. This section builds trust. It's about releasing the resistance and the fear of subtlety, allowing you to keep moving without demanding immediate visible forms.
You don't need the answers right this second.
Exactly. And that naturally leads into experience 3, or section 3, which is moving beyond the known.
So this is where we actually take a step.
Yes. Here you learn the actual motion of expansion. You are directing your perception outward without clinging to visible outcomes.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. But how do we ensure we don't just float off into the cosmos? How does this actually help the listener tomorrow morning?
That is the most important question, and it's exactly why we have Experience 4. Section 4 is bringing it back into life.
Ah, the integration phase.
Precisely. This final chapter ensures you return with something usable, so that this expanded awareness actually shapes your ordinary life, your decisions, and your intuition without splitting yourself in two.
You don't want to be a Zen master on the cushion and a stressed out mess at the grocery store.
Exactly. It has to translate into reality.
I love that.
Okay.
To completely eliminate any sense of overwhelm, let's just recap the simple formula for the listener.
Let's do it.
Watch the 2 videos once. Listen to this deep dive once.
Just once.
Use the song Beyond the Fade daily, however you like. Use the breathing series when you want deeper settling. And finally, move through the 4 jump experiences in release order. That's it.
It's that simple. And remember, one listen to each jump is usually enough to unlock the possibility.
You don't have to grind through them.
No, revisit simply deepen it. It absolutely does not need to be homework.
So we point you directly to the Beyond the Fade loop and the first jump experience to begin your journey. And keep in mind, while this arc is a timely amplifier right now, it will be just as beneficial 10 years from now.
The mechanics are timeless.
Truly. So subscribe to the House of Mystics YouTube channel to stay informed of new episodes, jumps, and music.
And as you head out to start this process, I want to leave you with one final thought to just sort of mull over on your own.
Lay it on us.
When you finally train your body to stop interpreting the unknown as danger, how much of your daily energy, previously spent just bracing against the future, suddenly becomes available for pure, unbounded creation?